Marriage isn't 50-50. We've all heard this for many years, that marriage is 50-50. Part of the failure in the body of Christ in marriages is because people have been trying to do this, trying to, make it a 50-50 agreement or contract. 50-50 performance relationship is destined to fail. Number one, because you really don't have the ability of knowing when somebody's met you halfway. And it also creates something I meant to mention last time, but I'll say it this time. It creates a tendency to make us focus on what the other person isn't doing. When you approach marriage with thinking this is 50-50, it doesn't make you think, what am I doing to meet them halfway? It automatically creates an atmosphere where you're looking to see if they're meeting you. It makes you focus on what they're not doing. It makes you focus on their weaknesses. And it creates the disappointment within you because the only thing you can see is your mate's weakness. You can only see what they're not doing. You can see their failures. You can see their flaws. The thing that makes marriage so wonderful in representing Christ in the church is that for two people who are flawed, not perfect, miss each other, fail to communicate, but you keep forgiving and you keep extending mercy. You keep giving another chance. You keep loving. You keep respecting. When you're able to do that, it's saying something. It's communicating something about the Lord that has to get out into the world. It has to, a message that has to get out. You hear me harping on it week after week. I'm always talking about we keep putting the emphasis on people trying to stay saved in order to stay in right relationship with God. And yet we live in relationship with one another, flawed, messed up, but we do not, I'm looking at me and my wife, with all of our flaws and failures, we are still married. We are still together. This is the message that the world must get about marriage. That it's not about perfect performance and always meeting that person, meeting their needs, and getting it all together. Marriage is an opportunity for us as individuals to have God use us to touch somebody else's life, to heal, bring healing into their life. It's a wonderful opportunity to be used of God to bring healing into someone else's life. Wow. That's the reason why, I will be honest with you, we never expected to be pastors. We were fine with just this. Because as far as I was concerned, I already had a ministry. My ministry was Carol Green. I met a girl who was afraid that I discovered after we got married, she was afraid I was going to leave her because her dad left. And so I saw that as my mission in my ministry. I told her, in fact, you remember when I used to look at her fingers, she had these long, skinny fingers, and sometimes because of her lack of blood flow, her fingernails, all that was purple underneath. And I told her, I said, I'm going to love you into health. I made a promise to her. I said, I'm going to love you into health. I set out to prove that I would not leave her. Those words that Jesus said. And God calls it, that's what marriage is really intended for. You and I get to represent the Lord. I'll never leave you nor forsake you. It's just words on a page, and it's just words in history, and it's just some stuff that you say in church. But when we live this out in this foundation, then that's why we're able to have our children grow up within the context of a commitment.